Hi, my name's Mateo, um, and I wanted to make a video talking about fitness. Um, but beyond that, trying not to give up in your life, um, and how things with fitness and the hardships that come with that kind of helped me in my life to this point. Um, when I was younger, I was pretty small. I mean, most people are, but I felt like I was really skinny compared to a lot of people. And not it wasn't really hindering me too much, but um, made me feel like I was a lot different than people. And I'm gonna try and insert some photos in here because I feel like it's good to have visual representation. I'm still learning how to do some video editing stuff, so um, might not be too good of a cut, but uh, in my childhood, I feel like pretty similar to a lot of other people's, especially in the 21st century. I was born in 2003, so a lot of my childhood was, I would go outside with my friends, but games, video games is a really large part. I still play video games. I try to, but when I was younger, it was everything. I would be playing games for hours on end, and I liked it a lot. But like looking back, I think I definitely should have been more active. I've been outside more. I mean, even now I'm trying to go outside more because found the beneficial things of sunlight, stuff like that. But it's besides the point. Um, school when I was younger wasn't too difficult. I'm not trying to flex or anything, but trying to set the precedent of there weren't a lot of hard things to do in my life. Um, it never really weighed me down. Um, obviously, homework it's really annoying, but when you're younger, school is such a large part of your life. Um, and not even school, but like I had personal problems throughout my entire life, like everyone. But I never really felt like those things were really holding me back or really holding me down. Um, and I guess that's an important part of being young because you kind of just go through the motion and you don't really think too far ahead of everything. But like besides having fun and stuff, I mean, yeah, I would get sad sometimes. There was some stuff that happened when I was younger that I feel like definitely has affected my life. But especially at that point, it was just stuff that happened, really. Um, and then you just keep going. Um, I really started getting into fitness probably in my freshman year of high school. And this is around the time I watched the first season of One Punch Man. Uh, I've watched anime all my life, but especially that. And I was like, wow, like really feel like it set a precedent for me to really try to get big. I mean, like the principle of just doing 100 push-ups, sit-ups, and squats every day was really it felt like such an attainable number in my mind. Like other anime or just fiction in general, people will have to like go to other planets to get stronger, um, fight like these insane creatures to do stuff like that. But like doing 100 push-ups, you can really split that up um, pretty easily. I would say if you do like 10 push-ups and then you rest for even an hour, just totaling 100 in a day is not crazy. Um, but I mean, I would really only do push-ups and sit-ups. So like I would even do sometimes sit-ups and crunches on the rug in my bathroom when my bathroom was colder than my room. Um, Curling a 15-pound adjustable dumbbell I had, that was a big thing too. But I could probably only do like 5 push-ups at this point. Like I wasn't crazy. 5 push-ups in a set. I definitely wouldn't be totaling 100 in a day, maybe like 50. Um, if that, if I was lucky and I didn't give up. Uh, but yeah, it made me feel good that I was working towards something. Um, I felt like at that point there wasn't really anything hard to do um, outside of socialization, but it was easy for me to like pour a lot of energy into trying, even though I didn't really get too far. Um, a step up to that was me and my friends in high school, we started going to Planet Fitness because it was just around the area where we all were. And that's where I really started to realize, like, wow, I'm a lot worse than I thought I was. I knew I was skinny, and I knew I was weak, but making that quantifiable with like weights in the gym, uh, calisthenics, at least starting out, really easy to go up. At least like rep wise, it's a little easier to start getting more reps. Um, but when you're at the gym, especially when you're younger, it's really like you see all these people. Like I was doing this alone in my room before I started going to Planet Fitness, and then you see people. Planet Fitness isn't crazy, but like there's some people, using like 90-pound dumbbells for a bench press. Um, I'm doing like 20 pounds. It was it was weird to see. Like it was cool to see because like obviously these people are strong and that's awesome. But it was hard to do everything. Beyond that, I was like vomiting so much, like vomiting, nausea. Um, if anyone's been to Planet Fitness before, they have those public trash cans where they keep the wipes and the spray bottles and stuff. Sometimes I would even have to throw up in there because it's just like just at a point, it's just overwhelming. Um, I've had stomach issues for a lot of my life, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I mean, obviously it did contribute, but just how I was handling myself, I think, in my life, like not really doing anything, playing games, not really eating either, because I wasn't active enough to have like a crazy amount of hunger to want to eat a lot of stuff. So that really stopped me too. Like this cycle of just trying and then failing or trying and throwing up when it got really difficult. Um, that really stopped me from progressing psychologically because I really felt like no matter what, I would always not be as strong as the people around me. And it made me kind of feel cornered, kind of made me feel like I'm not going to progress that much. I mean, obviously, I was a kid, so I was kind of stupid, but in that moment, it felt like I was trapped in that scenario of just going to the gym, trying to do hard stuff, not really gaining anything from doing hard stuff, and then just going home and playing video games. Uh, That's that's it. I'm not going to go into too much detail with these side topics, but some events happened in my life which ended up making me go inpatient at a hospital for a little bit. And while I was there, if anyone's ever been to a place like that, you don't really you don't do too much. Um, Self reflection is good there, and that's definitely something I really honed into. But um, I dialed into fitness a lot there, especially because yeah, there's not much to do. The food was I got really lucky. The place I went to, the food was probably one of the best hospital foods I've ever had in my life. Um, but I was doing like I went up to doing like 300 push-ups a day, and I was really for some reason focused just on the push-ups. Like I was doing crunches too, and some squats. I was even trying to do like pistol squats. Um, at that point, my knees were definitely not at a point where I could even do something like that without holding onto the wall. Um, but really, push-ups was the biggest thing. Um, and it got to a point where I was like, oh, these push-ups, like I was trying to do handstand push-ups with my feet against the wall, but got to a point where I would be doing like 150 fingertip push-ups, 150 diamond push-up, like three sets of 25 fingertips and three sets of 25 diamonds in the morning, and then same thing at night to equal 300 overall. Uh, and I was trying to reach this point of making it harder, and I feel like I went about it in such a wrong way because now I have wrist issues, which I think was definitely based upon me doing that so much. I felt like I was just grinding my grinding those joints out. My wrists have never been really strong. Like probably can't see it too well, but just overall, my it's not that big. My hands aren't that big, um, which is something I'm working on my forearms right now too. But when I got out, I was trying to be pretty active. I was trying to do that same stuff again, but it really fell off. Like I was trying to be active, but now I have so much other stuff to do. I can start playing games again. I can go back on my phone. I can hang out with my friends. Really do anything that I couldn't do while I was um, impatient. So yeah, I mean, my life was good. Obviously, you ask a kid if he wants to do stuff he should do compared to do stuff he wants to do. He's going to do stuff he wants to do. So I kind of just dropped it off. Um, which looking back was such a bad decision. I really wish I kept with that because I don't know, I would be like 3 years stronger than I am right now, which definitely matters a lot. Like I've been going for a while, but having more time would have been so substantial for me. Um, Definitely gain more knowledge too. But with giving up on doing that gym stuff and being physical, I definitely lost determination and motivation with fitness, just in general. I felt like I wasn't really trying to be better mentally or physically. I was kind of in a limbo state where I was really comfortable for a while. And obviously, there's ups and downs, but overall, I felt like I was pretty content with how my life was going, um, in general sense. So I just didn't really care too much. And that really went on until about when COVID happened. Um, COVID was, obviously really hard for everyone. I was at first pretty happy that I didn't have to go to school at all. It was my junior year of high school. It was relax, for a week or two. It was fine. Um, and I couldn't really go anywhere. And in the summer of 2020, I was hospitalized again. Um, this time from malnourishment and depression. I couldn't really see anybody. Um, but more importantly, I couldn't really go outside. And so then I just ended up playing games again all day. Um, there was probably a time I was playing Terraria a lot. During that, I was probably playing Terraria maybe 12 hours a day and then just going to bed. And that really, really hit me hard because I would just wake up, maybe eat something for breakfast, play games, not really too much throughout the day, and just go back to bed and repeat it. Um, and I probably weighed around like 120 to 130 pounds at that point. I mean, I'm 5'10", so that's pretty. I would say for me that's pretty substantial low amount. Um, and my heart rate was like 30 to 40 beats a minute, so it was really bad, and I was in a really bad cycle because I couldn't really eat because I would get nauseous. But I was nauseous because I wasn't eating. You know, if you've ever been on like a fast or something like that, or not even a fast, but you just nauseous because you haven't eaten maybe in like 10 hours, 10 or 12 hours. Um, it's really hard to get yourself to eat when you're nauseous, but if you don't eat, you're just going to get more nauseous. And that's really what was happening to me like almost every single day. So my health wasn't there, you know. Um, and it was scaring me because I didn't really know what to do. Because obviously, like, I didn't want to weigh that much. Obviously, I wanted to get back to a healthy weight, but even like even just the feeling, like I just hated feeling that way. Um, and on release, I was probably around 140 or 150 ish. I was there for maybe a month, probably a little less, I would say. But there's a lot of tube liquids, I'll say. Probably because I couldn't eat, but also just I'm just a picky eater in general. Um, and if anyone's been through that, sometimes they don't really let you choose what you eat, and they just give you a set standard menu where you get like a rotation every week of stuff. I'm really not a fan of hospital food at all, especially if I can't choose it. So sometimes it would just be easier to. Sometimes it would be easier to just drink the calories through any means. And life was pretty normal after that. I mean, not normal, wasn't the greatest. I was definitely having some interpersonal issues and personal issues, and they really start to compound on me over that time period. And in January of 2021, um, I attempted to take my own life out of guilt and fear. Um, these are all topics that I eventually want to make a separate video on because I'm really just spitting a bunch of stuff out before I get to the actual point of this video. This is kind of the prologue of it. Um, but I just want to say that doing something like that is not worth it, and I don't think it will ever be worth it. I've seen some people say, you know, in those self-help videos that as soon as they try something like that, they immediately feel like they did something wrong and they regret it. And I can tell you firsthand that is 100% truth. Um, in my scenario, as soon as I did it, it kind of felt like I just hit a vase off of a pedestal, and then I was watching it fall to the ground in horror. Like, why did I just do that? I'm personally very lucky that in my moment of rashness, I chose whatever method was easiest to do in my situation. I'm very grateful in hindsight that the way for me to be fixed was to just get detoxed. Um, and there was no permanent lifelong issues that came with it. Um, I know some people do make attempts or failed, and then they have to live with some type of negative for the rest of their life. I'm very grateful that I don't, but it could have easily gotten there. Um, and not all attempts are the same, but I'm just I'm happy that I'm still here. Regardless of that, obviously this led to another hospitalization, and I was very angry and sad and spiteful over everything going on, with the problems I was having in my life, but also just me doing that to myself, um, and doing that to the people who I care about, like my family, and people around me. It was a lot to take in, especially when you're recovering from it. It really makes you feel like you're a bad person for doing that. Um, but I worked with it. Um, After getting out, I was lashing out a lot, but I also didn't know what to do anymore, which led to a lot of boredom, which is really a consistent thing throughout this story. If I'm not making it super clear, there's a lot of boredom, and I think modern life, which leads to a lot of non-work because when you're bored, you start doing easy things, um, watching YouTube, playing games, instead of actually using that boredom to really get yourself out of the hole you're in. Um, I kind of felt like I lost things in my life that at that time mattered so much to me that it kind of blinded my vision into thinking that it was all I had. Like I had some interpersonal relationships, um, that I really, after I lost, I felt like I didn't have anything left in my life, which is really stupid. Um, but I was ignorant. Ignorance isn't a sin. It's just something to be worked on. So it was. I thought that was all I had. Um, so it was anger, but it was also this feeling of emptiness, um, and questioning what I should even be doing now. I didn't really have any direction in my life at this point besides just finishing high school as a senior. Um, and I started looking a lot online, just scrolling in general. Um, I found this manga, um, and the only one I've read up until this point was Goodnight Pun Pun, which I really enjoyed a lot. I think it's a really good story. I think if you haven't read it, um, it's good. It's insightful, but overall, it's just a really good story. I definitely read it at an unfortunate time in my life where I was already depressed, and reading it definitely didn't help anything. The manga that I was interested in reading was Fire Punch, and it was because I kept seeing all these like artwork of him, of the characters in the manga. Um, if no one knows what Fire Punch is, it's by the same author who made Chainsaw Man, which at the time of recording this on June 4th of 2026 is a pretty popular manga. Even an anime about it and a movie, stuff like that. But it took me like maybe a day or two to read. It's really short. It's about 80 chapters, but it fulfilled something in me that I felt like I wasn't getting up until that point. One with reading something and actually completing something and doing something tangible. Um, not beating a mission in Monster Hunter world, but really doing something quantifiable in the real world real world, like finishing a book. Um, that was very fulfilling to me. Without giving any spoilers away of the book, the main character Agni, he loses a lot. He loses a lot of stuff, which I could kind of relate to in my struggle. Um, but overall, with losing things, he also doesn't really have a clear objective. Like the world is it's a post-apocalyptic world. He doesn't have much to go on besides just going. Like he knows he has to keep going even if he doesn't want to. And that's really one of the biggest portions of the book, was where he can't go anywhere but forward. And that initially kind of flew over my head a little bit. It didn't make me really do anything. The stupider part was, while reading this book, I was like, "Oh my god! Like he's jacked. Like how is he that big? Like, can I get like that? Can I look like that?" Uh, and that really made me just get off my ass and try to be active again. Which like obviously any motivation is good motivation, uh, but there were so many other things I could have worked off of besides that. Obviously, I'm grateful. You know, I'm glad that was the stepping stone. But it's just funny to think about. Uh, at this point, I think 150 to 140 pounds. Still in a kind of a deep depression. Um, but I just started doing push-ups, squats, crunches again at home. I was just doing them on my rug in my bedroom. Um, I even bought a pull-up rack, even though I couldn't really do any pull-ups at that point. Just doing dead hangs, just because I've seen videos of people doing it and it looked good for you. Um, but it was really hard at that point. I wasn't really moving at all, really. Like I was just staying at home, um, still playing games all day, not really eating too good. Um, it just hurt a lot. Like even going up the steps to my bedroom would sometimes even make my legs burn. It's like maybe 7 steps, 7 to 10 steps. And my heart was definitely feeling it too. It would just burst out of my chest a lot. Um, it, I did find some progress with doing stuff at home. I'm not trying to discredit calisthenics. I just think, at least for me, it's easier to do things in a gym. But starting off, whatever you're doing is good, even if you're just taking a walk. Like just building up that snowball is probably the most important thing. I really started picking up when I signed up for a local gym. Um, Regrettably, I bought a lifetime program from AthleanX. Uh, Not trying to shit on him or say anything bad about him. He does say good things sometimes. Some of his shoulder things have definitely helped me, but uh, I didn't really know anything about physiology. I didn't know how to gauge my body that good. And I feel like the program I bought was definitely like above what I should be doing. Like I was taking percentages of my 1 rep max. I didn't even know what the hell I could lift at all. Like I was doing, I don't know. I was just doing bad stuff. I was doing bad numbers. Um, that made me throw up a lot again. He's a genuine guy. I just get my information from elsewhere right now. I think he's really good for, again, like getting people in the gym. Like he makes videos that people watch a lot, even if they're doing the wrong stuff in the gym. There's a point to be made about that, but um, he's definitely helps people get there, and I think that's good. But regardless if I had a program or not, it was still really hard to go and to lift. What was even harder was continuing and being consistent with it. Like, I could go every once in a while, it's not that big of a deal. And it's a lot easier to do that. But going multiple times a week and really pushing yourself hard and being consistent is the most important part and the hardest part of starting off. You can show up whenever you want to. And that's kind of what I did in the beginning. But that's not how you get better. And that's not how you progress. And after being consistent for about a year, it really showed me that a lot of stuff in life, not even just fitness, is really just about showing up consistently and putting effort into it. Um, it was really hard for me to get to that point because I was in pain a lot. I have some chronic issues that just make me not the greatest of persistence. Um, but I could have never gained a good 50 pounds. And I'll put some pictures up to show where I've come from. But I could have never done that by just half-assing what I was doing and showing up when I felt like it. Like, I really needed to tell myself that I had to do this. These were things that I had to do to keep going. Especially with eating. Eating was probably one of the biggest shock factors of the entire thing. Sleeping too, because my sleeping schedule was ass. But really making sure I was eating everything. Sometimes I would even eat dinner and then drink a protein shake and then just go to sleep after. Just so I was getting that extra stuff in. And that really definitely gained a few pounds I didn't need to. Maybe from fat, but to me it was worth it to show myself where I could be if I just kept it going. And it kind of showed me that I could have never kept going in my life if I showed up for myself when I wanted to. Um, if I didn't push myself when I needed to get pushed. And most importantly, if I didn't grit my teeth when things were bad, because I know now that bad things are temporary. Um, and something good will come out of me holding on and being consistent in my life, even if it's not the thing that I was hoping for. A lot of the things I was thinking about when I was in very deep depressive states is nowhere near what my life is like right now. I have an associate's in electrical engineering technology after being out of high school for 5 years. I can total over 1,000 pounds on squat, bench, and deadlift, which took me a lot longer than I actually thought it would. uh, I have good things going on in my life with the people that I know and the family that I would have given all away just because I couldn't see myself getting this far and I couldn't see myself bearing the pain and the guilt that I had years ago. The gym and fitness helped me see this, but to be honest with you, life has always given me and everyone problems to overcome. Fitness was my catalyst because it just showed me that if you actually dedicated time and effort into something, that it can pay off so much. And I definitely feel stupid looking back on all the times where I didn't just apply that same principle to every other aspect of my life. And that's just to say that getting into fitness was so good for me. And I think it could be so good for other people. But even if you don't do that, getting a good hobby is really good. Anything that you want to get better at and you just start doing maybe every day or maybe once or twice a week, even, even doing 1% of something and then just compounding that is so much better than not doing it at all. And that's what it really showed me. I used to do like 5 knee push-ups when I was younger. That's probably 1%. I really couldn't be doing shit. Now I'm trying to get 315 bench by the fall. I'm not too hopeful of it, but right now my max is 265, so hopefully, hopefully it can get up there soon. But it's so easy to never start. And when you never start, there's no way that you're ever going to get there. Really, just never give up on your life. Never give up on your hopes, your aspirations. Even when it looks like it's not going to get better. Again, I really couldn't see myself or my life becoming like this, but I'm happy I'm still here to see it. This is definitely a lot longer than I planned for it to be. I just kind of wanted to talk about the importance of continuing and not giving up. But if you listened and you stayed till the end of this video, thank you very much. I don't really talk about stuff like this online. Um, I have some inklings of it on my Instagram, but um, I do definitely want to try and post more things in general, not really just game stuff. That was my first video, but just videos in general. Like this was just a special idea that I've had for a while. Um, I just never really executed it. But again, thank you and good luck with everything that you are or aren't talking about in your life. Thank you.